Advanced Prospecting, a review on the new sales tool by LinkedIn Sales Navigator.
Welcome back to LinkedIn to Lead Generation with Hannah Tai, our LinkedIn expert. Hannah, I feel like this is sort of like the breaking news thing on CNN. Breaking news, Sales Navigator. So let's talk a little bit about what this thing is and give people some heads up. And we'll do this pretty quick, and we may come back and do another episode to report back when you've had even more experience playing around with it and kicking the tires and give people even more. So what are we going to cover, though, in this episode? What are your 3 points here?
Okay, well, we're just going to kind of do a brief overview. I'm going to give you some pros and some things that I found that I thought are positive and some things that maybe they need to work on a little bit.
All right, so what is this thing? I don't know anything about it, Hannah, so I'm the perfect person to talk to. Just educate me about what the heck LinkedIn Sales Navigator is.
Okay, so they had actually rolled out a product before, but this is a little bit more advanced, okay? And what they did, it's an upgrade to your premium account, basically. They just upgrade you to the Sales Navigator, okay? If you're a sales professional. And what it basically, the pros that I'm finding is that it allows you, it gives you more search options. So you can put in a little bit more and more minutely create some, nice searches. It also allows you to, follow companies and accounts that you've already have some prospects in, okay, and maybe even some that are already your account. And it does all this very, very intuitively, and it spits the information out to you without you having to look and find and search for it every day. So it's really nice in the fact that it basically streamlines your entire prospecting the way that you do that. You're not having to go in every day and say, oh, wow, let me check my news feed and see what, Jen Smith at, XYZ company is doing. It just kind of alerts you a little bit more succinctly of the changes that are going on in the companies that you've saved as either, prospects or companies that are your accounts.
So I'm somehow tagging some things in here, and it's giving me updates on things that I'm trying to track. Is that part of it?
So it allows you to do 2 main things that I can see. Number one, it allows you to save companies under accounts. So you create, say IBM is one of my accounts, and which would be nice. And Walmart is one of my accounts, and whatever. So you can just save all of that. And what it allows you to do is you can then also have certain people that you want to connect with. So if you put in, I want people at director level and above at this Walmart company, it will save those people as potential leads. Okay, and say there's another company that you would like to do business with. It will allow you to save those people. You can search under your search criteria like you would do normally in an advanced search, right? And you would find a bunch of people that hit in those. When you go to do an advanced search in LinkedIn, you can typically find who that director or VP level is, okay? But what it'll do is you save those people as leads, and every single time that person does an activity or that company does something and is in the news or whatever, it will actually send you that information.
Cool. Okay.
So that's kind of really, so it really allows you to really stay on top of these people, even if you are not directly connected with them. Okay, so it allows you to see their profile, so it unlocks their profile. The thing that's the coolest thing that I think is amazing is that it allows you, if I'm working in a company, which I am with companies that are, have about 50 people in them, I can actually see if I want to be introduced to Jane Doe at Walmart, say I'm trying to get into Walmart, if I see Jane Doe is a good prospect for me, I can save them as a lead, and then I may be able to see someone within my own company that actually has a connection to Jane Doe.
Okay.
So, in other words, it'll allow me to see, oh, Jen, who works in accounting, over in Chicago, who I don't know personally, is connected to Jane Doe.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool because all of
Yeah.
a sudden, all the people within your company that you don't really know very well, you now see how they're connected to your prospects.
That yeah, that's a great tool, obviously, to have. Sure.
Right. And then you can say, okay, well, this is a company-wide initiative, so you can then reach out to the person, your friend in Chicago,
Right.
your colleague, and
So
say,
can you pave the way for me? Right. And unlike other conversations we've had before about sort of etiquette, now you're on the same team, right? So I mean, you're able
exactly,
to actually approach somebody and say, hey, look, I really need you to
to
do
make
us a
this
solid here
right.
and make this connection because
Right.
it's good for our company. And
Exactly.
that's a little different than just outside networking where you're connecting to a third party that you're not already connected to. So yeah, very cool. Now you've also hit some bumps in the road kind of playing around with this. So tell us what you're running into that you feel still needs a little work here, still needs a little attention.
So just really, the only thing that I'm finding is a little bit, not as wonderful as it could be is I don't feel like it's quite as intuitive as I would like it to be. So for instance, when I started playing around with it, I started thinking, okay, well, I'm going to search for, public relations firms within a, 50-mile radius of Reading. Okay. And I'd like to see like VP of, whatever, and with this function. And, I put in all the search criteria. And there are companies that I know specifically are within this area. I know them. They didn't show up.
Okay.
So now this could have been something that I did wrong or, in the way that I, created the search. But to me, I knew that they should have showed up,
Right.
within the different, I tried a couple different variations and they did not show up. I had to actually specifically put in the name of the company for it
So
to
it sounds
show
like you're trying to figure out, is it glitchy or does it have some other variation on what seems like the intuitive strategy, but there's a different way that this algorithm is kind of working on search that hasn't
yeah, like
been clearly explained in
right,
by
how I
LinkedIn.
put in search criteria for it not,
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward, like I want to know about, a public relations firm within, this geographical area, and I want to know all the director and above people, it should put this company in there because, it's a decent company. And it didn't do that, which, again, it just may be something weird that day.
Well, Hannah, I expect that by tomorrow, because LinkedIn is listening, of course, that they will have repaired this and made it work perfectly by tomorrow. So we'll have to report back and let people know how it evolves, right? So, but it is probably an evolving tool because you said this is pretty new, right?
Yes, and again, sometimes when LinkedIn is doing updates, their things get a little clunky and they don't, work as well. So maybe because they are rolling this out so quickly, there's just some bugs that they just need to work on. So, or maybe I put in the query wrong. Who knows?
Maybe it's all your fault, Hannah.
It's all my fault.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Well, listen, this is sort of like our breaking news segment on a new feature that's evolving in LinkedIn. So we, as you play around with this more, we'll come back and maybe hit it again. But overall, this has fit into our big theme here in this whole series that we're doing, which is really about LinkedIn for successful prospecting. This does sound like a really cool tool for a salesperson who needs to prospect, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it really cuts your legwork and just kind of puts everything in there because it's spitting the information out to you instead of you having to go in every day and look here and look there and whatever.
It's getting the system to work for you a little bit rather than you having to work the system on manual all the time. So yeah, this does sound like a great tool. I hope it evolves even better, and we'll come back with more about that. So we talked about LinkedIn Sales Navigator, a little bit of an overview for you, some of the pros, some of the quirks, and if this is good stuff. If you're out there prospecting, if you're in a small business up to say 50 employees, Hannah is developing this whole series here. You want to make sure you connect with her on her website. All that great information is here on the screen for you. You don't want to miss out on the future episodes. So we're going to come back at you with more about how you can become a LinkedIn prospecting pro. Hannah, thanks for this great information, and we'll come back with another episode very shortly.
Thanks, Mark.